What it do, fam? We got another one in the pipe that's like 80% there, but with the market taking hits due to anxiety around the current policy of financial tightening, it seems like as good a time as any to drop in with some really quick notes about what's going on in our market. Specifically, we're going to keep it really short and talk about one change that's happened since we released our last video. You're watching Sekider, and this is a quick hitter on the recent pushing back of KakaoPay's IPO. Now before we continue, we'd just like to remind you that this channel is meant for general education purposes only and isn't meant to replace the legal or financial advice from a paid professional. When it comes to investments, it's always healthy to take everything with a fair bit of skepticism regardless of the source. Anytime you hear anyone, whether us or otherwise, mention a stock, it should be standard practice to assume that they have some position on the stock. For that reason, nothing we say here should be taken as a basis for investment, and you'll have to do your own work and thinking before deciding whether or not a position on any stock mentioned here is in your best interest. Want to know how to know? Well, if you scroll down a little bit, hit the like and subscribe buttons. We'll do our best to help you figure out how to figure out this game for yourself. And that being said, let's get to it. Alright, since our last video on the 2 IPOs to look out for, things have changed for one of the IPOs, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you think you know which one we're talking about, you're probably right, because after postponing their IPO due to valuation concerns from the FSC back in August, KakaoPay has once again delayed their IPO. Now, subscriptions for their second attempt at an IPO were set to take place in the first week of October, with the stock hitting the market on the 14th, but as a result of the recent regulatory changes and heightened customer protection in the fintech industry, KakaoPay has once again postponed their IPO date. Now, KakaoPay recently halted insurance comparison services at the beginning of the month. More changes are expected, and this will naturally affect their products, services, and potentially their potential profitability. Thus, they've pushed back their book building from the end of September to the 20th and 21st of October before their IPO, which will take place on the 25th and 26th, finishing with a listing date of November 3rd. Now, this is certainly a disappointment to their underwriters, including Samsung Securities, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs, as it not only pushes their timing for their commissions, but will require even more due diligence and more work for what may be a smaller IPO than initially expected. It's also kind of a bummer for a lot of people who wanted to get in, but hey, better safe than sorry. Now, for those of you who've been watching our market plummet without really understanding why, it may be beneficial to do a quick rewatch of our video on the base interest rate change, because that's going to be a big issue as people evaluate the potential future prosperity of our nation's firms. Furthermore, do yourself a favor and read up on what's going on with Evergrande over in China, because it has market spooks around the world, and that's just on top of the whole tapering and interest rate business. Anyways, when the market gets like this, it can be real tough to stick through it if you look at it every single day. Given that you've done your due diligence and you're confident in your picks, or that you trust the wisdom of the most successful wealth accumulators before you and you just want to continue indexing, the best thing that you can do is really just not look at the market every day. Trust yourself, fam. You got this. Alright, that's it for me. I told you it would be really quick, but we'll be dropping a proper one in a couple of days, so stay up. All the best, fam. Catch you in a bit. Peace.